What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Robot Paradise RP-01 Acoustic Wave, their version of a masterpiece Soundwave. So this figure has been a long time coming. Now it is called Robot Paradise, but we all know this is FansToys. Now they did rebrand for this figure. There's a lot of speculation about why they rebranded, but it's safe to say they're probably trying to avoid attention from Hasbro and Takara Tomy. But we don't have confirmation on any reason why they changed the branding. They did change the branding throughout the packaging. You saw that at the beginning. They also changed it on the instruction manuals. So you can see everywhere it says Robot Paradise. There's no more FansToys labeling. And as well as the collector's cards, which we'll take a look at here. So you get two collector's cards, one for Acoustic Wave, RP-01. And here's the back, his tech specs. It's got a 7.5, kind of weird. They got a 0.5 there. And he's got a bio, if you want to read that. It's on the back of the box as well. And then here is Fibrir, or Frenzy is blue, Rumble is red, or whatever you believe. And here's the back with his tech specs, and he's also got his own bio. And again, everywhere it says Robot Paradise. So let's take a look at the figure. Very obviously, it is mistransformed right out of the box. So I wanted to show you what you have to do once you get out of the box. One thing you're going to need is a spudger. There's a lot of tight panels, so you're going to need a spudger like this. I have quite a few. I got this figure from Nick the Toy Guy. So I actually bought two of these. I bought one from Toy Dojo, and I bought one from Nick the Toy Guy. This one happens to be from Nick the Toy Guy. I have another one coming from Toy Dojo for a friend that's local to me. So thank to both of them for sending these out so quickly and allowing me to take a look at this review. So get your spudger out, because we're going to need that to take this apart. So go ahead and get that right here into this back panel here. And that'll allow you to pop this open. Then you're going to unpeg this from the back. And that will allow you to rotate the waist. So rotate the waist 180 degrees. And this part is interesting because in the book, they have it a certain way. So they have these folded up, and then they have it rotated like this and stored like that. Now, if you don't like that look, then you don't have to store it that way. That's the way they have it in the book. So you'd have something like that. But me personally, I think it does look fine the other way. So if you don't want to rotate it, you can have it stored like this with the buttons. Obviously, it's got buttons on the front too. So if that bothers you, you can flip it around. But either way, you can store it whichever way you want. So I'm going to just put it the way it's intended to go in the book. So I'll rotate that around, put that back in. Take this piece here. This is going to fold upwards. Make sure you have that straight. That's going to fold back into here, and then peg this back in, and that's the backpack all cleaned up. There's the waist, and there you go. He also comes with the hands kind of splayed out, so I just get those into a fist. But these hands are definitely new, so this is a new design for FansToys or Robot Paradise. It is jointed and pinned, 1, 2, 3 pins. But they're a little bit less blocky, a little bit less square than we've seen in the past from FansToys. So really nice looking hands. But let's get those put away. And obviously we need his shoulder cannon, because what is Soundwave without a shoulder cannon? So it comes compressed. This is the shoulder cannon like this. So go ahead and pull this out. You'll see there's a little slot right there. And this will have to be folded out of the box. So go ahead and fold that upwards. And you're going to take this, and that's going to peg into there. And this is an interesting little mechanism. So as you pull this up, it reveals that little piece there, and that allows you to get a lot of articulation out of this. One of the really nice things about that is you can get that out of the way of his face. So normally you have it like that, and you get a little bit up and down, but this gets you way up and down. So I really like that. You also get this one here, so you pull that apart, pull down the handle. You'll have to grab these little nubbins here. If you can't get it, you might need a tool. But be careful, because this is chromed plastic. So there you go for the gun. The gun just fits in just like any other Masterpiece figure. There's a little tab on there. That's going to fit into the hand. Get the thumb open here. And the fingers can fit right back around that handle. And there you go. There he is with his gun. The gun has some nice painted detail. You can see the metallic red there on this one, and then metallic red here and here. All that looks nice. Speaking of paint, let's go over this paint on this guy. So the head has the translucent red for the head, or for the visor. The mouthpiece and the sides are this sort of pearlescent white, but a little bit of gray in there too. You have the blue paint all throughout, so this is fully painted. You got gold paint here, the metallic chrome here, some die cast here. There is quite a bit of die cast and heft on this guy. We'll talk about that a little bit later. You have some more pearlescent paint here, yellow here, blue paint on the sides, and then that same pearlescent. And then gunmetal for the feet, which are die cast. There's a lot of die cast in this. You can see all those metal parts back here. A lot of the inner workings, inner joints are die cast. Even a lot of the leg itself is die cast. So it really has some heft to it. It really feels solid and substantial. It does come with quite a few accessories, so let's take a look at that. First off, you get, most importantly, the Fibrir tape. So you can take it out of this tape cover. And there it is. There's what it looks like. It is pretty much completely die cast in this mode. Everything you feel or touch is die cast. And it is painted in metallic paint. So you can see the silver, blue, the gunmetal around the edge, the gold here, that's all metallic shiny paint. Looks really nice. You can put it in this chest here. So you open this up and slide this down. I think they have it like this in the book, so you want the top of the feet sticking upwards. I do find it's popping apart now, but take this and slide that in. Then go ahead and close it. And there you go. There he is in the chest. There is a spot for a second tape, so you can see back there it's kind of pretty deep. So if you put it back there, it will sit back there and lock in. In order to get that out, you have a really cool mechanism. You push up on this, and it pushes a mechanism forward to unlock that tape. So you can see that mechanism there. Really cool. So we'll leave that down. Now let's take a look at the tape. We're going to transform into robot mode. Go ahead and take the leg, unpeg from here, fold that downwards. This peg right here is a little bit interesting. You have to kind of go in to go out. So you have to push it inwards and then pull it out. It's a little bit strange. So I'll show you again on this side. Push it in and then out. Fold the legs down. Take the arms, fold those down on both sides. Fold the elbows down. Come to the back here. Use this little spot right here where the mushroom peg is for the head. That'll allow you to flip it open. Pull down on the waist to reveal his ab section there. And I would be careful because this paint will probably rub, this gold paint here. Just going to be careful with that. Go ahead and take the foot, and that's going to fold forwards. You may want to spudger here, or you can just do it with your fingernail, but open up the heel spur there. Same on this side. Open up the heel spur. A lot of tight joints on this, both the tape and the robot mode. Go ahead and take the hands and flip these out. Again, same thing. You might need a spudger, or you can use your nail to grab those hands and pull those out. And there you have Fibrir in his robot mode. Really beautiful, beautiful looking. All metallic paint. In this mode, the die cast is, the only thing that's not die cast is the head. And, I can't even tell. I think these hands are plastic. And then these heel spurs are plastic. Everything else feels like die cast. Again, it's hard to tell when you've got all this metallic paint, but I think those are the only plastic parts on there. Now, he's an incomplete without his guns, so here are the guns. And these do actually store in the tape deck mode, or tape mode, so we'll show you that later when you transform him back. I'll go ahead and get these, are going to be pegged onto his back. And there you go, the classic look Looks really nice. For articulation on these two guys, let's take a look at that. So the head rotates around. We'll just leave these off for now. I can show you the articulation. Head goes back so you can look up. A little bit down, not too much down. The arms rotate around on this joint here, although you do have to pull it out on that joint first. So it actually pulls outwards, and then you can rotate that around on that joint. So you gotta pull it out there to use that. If you pull it out too far, it kind of looks awkward. So that's why you want to push it back in, or it'll look a little bit strange. You have a single jointed elbow, but it gets you past 90 degrees. You also get this motion here because of the transformation. And it rotates here up on this shoulder joint because of the transformation. You have a ab crunch, which is crazy. I guess it's not an ab crunch. It's just the legs, the hip skirts for the legs rotate with the legs. So you go up to there, out to the side. And this is all pin joints, so you may loosen over time, but right now it's very tight. Continuing down, you have a rotation at the thigh. Single jointed knee, but it gets you, no, I'm sorry. That is double jointed. So it gets you the full bend there. Mostly for transformation, but you do get it. You have a ankle rocker, ankle tilt. And you kind of get this in any position. Here is the back of the figure. There is a little bit of gappiness here on the legs and the thighs, and then where the head comes out. To be expected with tapes like this, but MMC was able to do it without, so I don't have the MMC version, so we're not going to be able to compare that, but we will look at the Takara Tomy version a little bit later. Overall, pretty cool looking tape. He does one other thing, which is he can use his pile drivers here. So in order to set those up, go ahead and fold the arms inwards, fold his arms upwards. You're going to pull out on that joint I showed you earlier, rotate this up, and then you're going to take the right pile driver. You'll know it's the right one if you don't have the screw holes in the front. So here's the screw holes. So I know this is the right one. Same on this side, pull that out, fold the hand in, fold up the arm, rotate this up. And now that's ready for receiving the pile drivers. Now these pile drivers are interesting. So you can push down here and it releases a spring-loaded pile driver. It stays downwards. I kind of like it, but some people may not like that because you can't pose it in a specific, you can't lock it. Well, let's see, can you lock it? No, it looks like you can only lock it at the top position. So if you like to pose it, you know, half down or whatever, you may not be able to do that. But he obviously can pose with these pile drivers, and that looks really, really, really nice. All right, now we'll go over Acoustic Wave's articulation here. So starting with the head is on a rotating swivel, goes all the way around, goes up to there, down to there. The shoulder cannon rotates all the way around here, goes up to there and down to there, and you can collapse it if you want to, although I think it makes more sense all the way up. The shoulders rotate all the way around here on a ratchet, goes up to there on a ratchet as well. Rotation of the bicep. Single jointed elbow gets you well past 90 degrees, and you have the die cast piece in the elbow there. Rotation at the wrist, in and out joint at the wrist because it's on a ball joint. So if we take this, you can see there's a ball joint there. So the hand can go up, and it can go a little bit flat if you transform it a little bit. But that's really cool. I haven't seen a lot of hands like that. These are relatively new for FansToys. And then I mentioned earlier you got 1, 2, 3 pins, and the thumb is on a ball joint and a hinge here. And they're all pinned hinges, so really nice movement on those hands. Continuing down, you have a rotation at the waist. It is hindered right here by the backpack. So again, if you open up this backpack, you might need a spudger or something to pop it. So get that open, get this open down here, and now you can just set it back on and you can get the rotation all the way around. But it is a little bit hindered by that backpack. All right, continuing downwards, you have an ab crunch here. So you can see there's a joint right there. Get some ab crunch and a little bit back as well. You can see it opens up a little bit back there. There you go. You have hip skirts here, here, and on the back. We talked about removing this earlier. The leg goes up to there, high kick, back to here, out to the side on friction, nice tight joint. FansToys squeak per Bobby. Rotation at the thigh gets you all the way over there. Double jointed knee gets you the full bend. And you have a cover down die cast piece there in the knee, just like you had on the elbow. You have a ankle tilt, so I'll show you from down here. Tilts up to there, back to there. The toe itself can tilt, and then it does have a little bit back and forth tilt here. And if you want to separately tilt the toe, you can. One final feature on Acoustic Wave here is you can turn it into the toy version by changing out some of the panels. So we're going to do that. And it is relatively simple, but there's a couple things you have to do. So first, we're going to unpeg this from the side, which will allow us to take the foot and open that up. And that's going to give us access to this panel here. So you want to pop this panel off. So it's just a little panel. You can see there's a hole there. Open up this knee. So you just pull from the top. And we can take this panel off as well. And that just pulls right off of the knee there. And then fold the knee down and you can pull this panel as well. So there's that. And now we'll start replacing all that. So here is the replacement knee. It's red metallic with that silver on the knee. So get that on there. It only goes one way, so you have to have the thinner part down on the bottom. So make sure you have it like that. If you don't have it like that, it won't fit properly. Close up the knee. Now take this piece, and this is also side specific, so make sure you have the yellow lights or whatever they are on the outside, and then these panels, these tabs that go into this panel. So get that pegged in there, and you can close that up. And that's going to fit right back into where it was, like that. And then take the alternate toy panel here. Now this is actually marked left and right. This one says left, so I'm going to use the other one. I don't know if there's any difference between these two, but since they're marked, I'll put the right one on the right leg. And then you can take the foot, tab that back in, tab this back in, and there's the leg done. So next we want to do the shoulder. So go ahead and take this off. Okay, so a little tip here to get it out. You can put a spudger right under this tiny little tab right here and pop that. And that'll give you a little bit of leverage to pop this piece off here. And that's how it comes off. So you can close that up. I would not pull on this panel here. It's a very thin piece of plastic. You don't want to break that. So don't pull on this panel. All right, we'll get the replacement, which looks like this. And make sure you have the right side. This is the right side. So we'll get this pegged in. All right. So that shoulder's done. And then the last piece here is the head. Now the easiest way to do this may be to actually remove the head. So very carefully get it off of the mushroom peg there. Just slide it forward, or actually rotate it to the back and slide it backwards. You can see it just slid right off like that. And I knocked this off. We'll just leave that off. This is a painted surface, and so is this, so you want to be careful with that. This is another challenging piece to get apart. So again, I recommend using a spudger to get this face piece off. Just work it a little bit at a time, and you're going to have to pull it apart. You can see I finally got it off. When you first do it, it's going to be very, very tight. All right, so here's the old face. Here's the new one. Got that yellow. Going to get that on like that, and then slide that back on the mushroom peg, and then rotate that to the front. So there he is, full-on toy mode. Really cool that they gave you this option. I really think that's nice of FansToys to give you these parts rather than having you buy a second one that's with the toy deco, right? You can choose, do you want the toy deco or the standard deco? One final accessory you get here are the chest pieces. Now, I am not sure what the deal is. This is actually meant to go with the toy parts that I showed you earlier. But if you open up the chest, this piece doesn't pop out. It doesn't push this way. It doesn't push this way. There's no screws to remove. So I am not sure. The instruction book doesn't talk about it. It doesn't show how to change this out. And I'm afraid to break it. So I haven't pushed too hard. I'm pushing here and that's not coming out. So I'm not sure how this fits in here, but here's how it would look. It'll go right here and you'd get that toy look. It's got some etching on it. It looks really nice, but I just don't know how to get it in there. So my apologies on that. And then you also get this Energon cube here. It comes with a cover. Obviously you could put the, some pink paper, whatever color you want in there, so you can make a nice colored cube. But you can take this cover off and this will fit right onto his chest. That's a really neat accessory to include. So he can be making Energon. Obviously you're going to get some paper or whatever and put that in there, some cardboard maybe, and you can use that for his Energon making. And for a size comparison, there is Acoustic Wave next to the Masterpiece Megatron MP36 and the Masterpiece Shockwave. Looks really good. He is a tiny bit shorter than Megatron. I also grabbed the gun from MP52. This is the Megatron gun. It doesn't fit because of the tab. The tab doesn't go into the hand, obviously, but you can make him hold it. He can actually hold the trigger, which is really cool. So he can be holding Megatron if you want him to from any of your Megatrons that you've collected over the years in the Masterpiece collection. And of course, here's the comparison everybody wants to see. This is the Takara Tomy version MP13 Soundwave with Acoustic Wave here. And here are the two tapes. Now I'm obviously going to be doing a full versus video to compare these two. So I just wanted to give you a taste of what they look like next to each other. Here are the two tapes. Frenzy or Rumble, whatever you want to call them. And here is the MMC Ravage. This is the translucent version. So fits in well with both, and they're both about the same size. I guess Acoustic Wave's a little bit taller, a little bit bigger. But there you go for a comparison, and we'll get into this more in the versus video. All right, now let's get these guys transformed into their alt modes. So go ahead and we'll take the pile drivers off and set those aside. We don't need these anymore. And we'll just put that away. Go ahead and take this guy. We're going to rotate the head around. That's going to tuck back in. These shoulders here are going to rotate back this way and then come in. Make sure you push them back down and then peg them in. Same on this side. Rotate this around. Push it in and then peg that back in. We're going to take these legs, take the heel spurs, tuck that in, and then tuck the foot in. These abs is going to collapse down. So there's a peg on the inside that this is going to peg into. So get that pegged in, then fold it up and tab it in. And there's a little tab right here, so I'm going to get that all the way up and in. So same on this side, get this pegged in. It pegs on the inside of the leg. I didn't even see that till now. So make sure you have that pegged in. Then close this up, and I didn't have it pegged. All right. Then close this up and get that pegged in. Alright, now let's get Acoustic Wave transformed into his alt mode. And this is going to require a spudger, so keep that handy. You can actually transform it with the alternate parts on, so the knee, the kneecap, and the bottom piece here, and the alternate head. You can actually have all those on if you want to transform it like that. The only part that I don't think you can have on is this piece here, because that's going to get in the way. So you do have to take these off. But other than that, you can transform it with all the toy parts on there. All right, the book has a mistake. So it actually has you working on the upper body first, and then it has you working on the lower body. If you do it in that order, it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to transform. So you have to do in this order that I'm going to tell you right here. So make sure you work on the bottom half first. So go ahead and take this off, push that in, and that's ready to be put in. And if you haven't already transformed the gun, go ahead and push this in, fold the handle down, and then push this down. And you should end up with two. Obviously, they look like batteries, like the original toy. So we'll set those aside. Next, we're going to work on the back here. So go ahead and open up this panel, open up this panel here, and that's going to allow us to work on this waist piece here. There's a lot that has to happen here. So open this up, unpeg and open this up, and make sure you get the hip skirts rotated up. We're going to rotate the entire waist, and then we're going to open up here. Actually, you can just fold these up and out of the way. So we'll get those out of the way. These hip skirts will just fold up. They sit nicely on the side there. All right, we got to take care of all of this. There's a lot going on here. So we have to actually rotate this. It's kind of an interesting thing. So make sure you have this up and out of the way. We're going to rotate these legs down here. If you forget that step, nothing will work. so you've got to do that step. Otherwise, things will have a problem. Okay, so you rotated this top part and you rotated the legs back to where they were. Now that we've done that, we're going to come into here. And this is actually, I forgot to mention, this is another thing that's not transformed correctly when you take it out of the box. These little die-cast pieces are upwards like this, and you want to put them down and put them in place. I'm not sure why they didn't put those in place, but you want those, otherwise your chest will be wobbly here. Or I guess your waist will be wobbly. So make sure you take those die-cast pieces up. That's going to allow you to collapse it down like that. Then you can take this, put that back down, and then tab that back on the bottom. This is going to open up here, and then open up here. Same one over here, open that up, and oh, sorry, we did that wrong. First, rotate this panel all the way around, and then open these up. And now this is ready to be obviously the front of the tape deck mode. If you don't do all that first, you'll have a problem. So don't follow the instructions where they tell you to do the arms first. But now we're going to do the arms. Go ahead and come, before you put this back in, fold this down, fold that panel downwards. We're going to put it forwards eventually. Open this up. You can peg that back into the back. Take the head, fold it down. And I did mention earlier you can put the alternate head in there if you want to, the alternate face. And we're going to take these parts here, and these are going to sit in here. In the book they show it with the red stripe on that end. So you can put them both in here, like that. And then you can close this up. Now I'm going to leave one out just for the alt mode, but they do fit in there, just like that. Come to the arms, fold this down. Make sure you have the flat part inwards. Fold that in. And make sure you have the hands folded up like a cube. And that's going to go in like that. Same on this side. Fold the hand in. And then collapse that down. All right, now we're going to take these arms and detach them. And again, you're going to need a spudger, especially the first few times. This is very tight. You can see mine is a little bit looser now, but I still need a spudger to get it popped out. It's this tab here that's very, very tight. So you got to get that out. All right, you're going to have two tabs. There's a tab here, or a slot here and a slot here. That's going to go into the screw hole, and then this tab is going to go in that slot. So get the top one in first, and then do the bottom one. So get this rotated to the back. Top one in first, and then the bottom. So it should look like that. Same on this side. Top in first, and then the bottom. So you have a nice cube up there. All right, now we'll work on the legs, and the legs are probably the most complex part of this transformation. So come to the back here. You're going to pop this little tab right there. That's going to allow you to rotate the leg and make sure that tab stays up while you do it. Rotate the leg to the outside. Pop this panel off to the inside, rotate it out, and then rotate it out again. There's another panel in here. You have to get that out. And then fold that upwards, and it should make a little U shape like that. Take the foot, fold this out. We're going to rotate it this way, and that's going to fit up and under into here. And just put the U on top of it right now. Open this panel up, and that's going to fold down and sit in like that to expose the knee. Make sure you have all this squared away. Everything should be nice and square in there. Take this panel, open it up, and that's going to reveal a slot and a tab. So you're going to fold up at the thigh. So fold that all the way up. And then this is going to tab in. So there's a tab right here. It's going to fit in that slot. And then there's a tab right here. It's going to go in that slot. So that's what you're going to make it meet up. So rotate it here. You can actually bring Let's see. Bring this all the way up. And make sure you have a little gap here on this panel so this tiny little tab can fit underneath there. All right, so get those tabs in on both sides. And just for information, that little knee panel that's replaceable with this one, it might get stuck to that. So if you transform him back to robot mode and you're like, hey, where'd my shin panel go? It's probably attached right here. So just look for it there. Go ahead and take this, close that up. That's going to seal that up. Use a spudger. So we're going to open this up, pull this outwards, and then fold down this panel here. And that's going to fold to the back. And then you push it back in and tab it in to the side. This panel down here is going to push forward and tab into the front. Then you're going to tab it here. Then you're going to tab it to the back. All right, so that's one side completely done on this guy. All right, this tends to come out, but you can kind of adjust it. Let's see. All right, so now let's work on the other one. I'm going to show it again because it is a relatively complex part of this entire transformation. I'm going to get this pushed in all the way. All right, open up this tab here. Rotate the leg 90 degrees. I'm going to come to the bottom here, open up this tab right here, fold that out, fold it out again, fold out this inner tab right there. That's going to peg into here, make a nice U shape. Unpeg the foot, rotate the foot, get that into here, and then put the U on top. That can just sit there for now. Take this panel, the knee panel, and open up a little bit of gap right here on the top. This is going to sit inside like that. Rotate at the thigh, and then rotate at the knee, making sure you hit all of the tabs. Oh, and make sure you open this before you do that. That's going to go down and get pegged into the side of the arm. Tab this in here. Open up this panel. Again, use your spudger to get that popped out. Oh, no, we got to take this panel out. Take that panel out. Push that back in and tab it in. Next, push this inwards and tab it into the bottom. So that has to come forward just a bit. This one's having a little bit more trouble. There we go. And then bring it up and tab it into the side. And then to the back. And then come to the bottom. Oh, and this panel closed up on us, so we got to get this back out of here. We're going to open this up. That panel's got to be down. And these two panels are going to just fit right on the back. So it ends up pushing down and forward. So make sure you have those panels set. I like to do that last because it tends to move out of place. And there is Acoustic Wave in his tape deck mode. Really, really beautiful. It's a solid block. I mean, this could hurt somebody. I mean, there's really no holes other than the bottom's a little bit of hole. But other than that, man, it's a solid lump of toy. Now, there is some oil for lubrication on this thing. So you end up getting it on there. So you might want to wipe it off and clean it off. But really nice. You get that gold on the front for the chest that turns into the tape deck. You can actually open up. You press this button. Pops open. I showed that earlier. You take the tape. You do want the feet sticking upwards. That's how they show it in the book at least. And that's going to fit right into here. It should fit in here. Oh, there we go. And then get that in there. And there's the tape inside there. Really, really cool. These buttons, they don't actually press, but there are buttons on here. So this one moves up and down. There's another one here for volume that moves down to here, up to here. A lot of kids might not even know what this is or why there's buttons on it. But back in the day when we had microcassettes, this was a player. Here's the top. Pretty clean overall. I did forget to mention you do want to fold this little tab inwards. But you don't have to if you don't want to, because you can if you like to. Peg, open up this peg again, there's a little additional feature here. And you can have that, another little cannon here that works in the tape deck mode. And for size comparison, there is next to the FansToys version of Wild Rider. Pretty big. I mean, this is not going to scale with anything, obviously, this gigantic micro cassette player, but it does look good. So final thoughts on the Robot Paradise Acoustic Wave or FansToys. By the way, it does have the FansToys QC sticker there. So let's start with the positives. This thing is beautiful. The amount of paint and detail and just overall sculpt work, and then the fact that you can change it into the toy look, that's just really, really awesome. And it just stands out on the shelf. Really, really nice presence. The articulation is top notch. It's one of the best FansToys articulations I've seen recently, especially even the mini bots have all been somewhat limited. This has full articulation, every joint pretty much that you would want. You could probably ask for a little bit more ab crunch, but even then, that's kind of nitpicking. So really good articulation. I also really like the tape. I was a little worried that these were going to feel kind of cheap and sort of not the best, but they don't feel cheap at all. They're really well done. The die cast feels great. The posability is great. The look of it overall, the paint job, everything about it. I love the tapes. Can't wait to get more tapes. They're coming soon, but I'm really excited about getting other tapes. Also, all the accessories work. Everything works well except this, which I haven't figured out. I don't know why. I'll probably have to do an addendum video after this because mine just doesn't pop out. But other than that one piece, everything works and is just really well done. Negatives wise, there is some really, really tight joints on this guy. So you have to be careful. You need a spudger. You cannot handle this figure without a spudger because you need to open up little panels. So that's the downside, is just some tight, really small tolerances. But that's typical with FansToys. We're kind of used to that. That's really it. I don't really have a lot of negatives. I really love this thing. Highly recommend it. If you haven't picked them up, you can pick them up from Toy Dojo or from Nick the Toy Guy on the websites. I'll put the links in the description below. Hopefully you guys have some luck finding it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.